Okay, Steven, so I just finished travel assignment number 3 and just moved down the west coast for assignment 4. I wanted to just make a quick recap video for you of the past couple of months. Word of warning, I'm not great at this whole vlogging thing yet, and I didn't think to take videos of all the places that we went. More proof that I'm not great at vlogging, the video you're watching right now of us driving south through California was shot at the last minute when it occurred to me I might need filler video for this recap video to avoid talking over a blank black screen. So the assignment I just completed was in Vancouver, Washington, which is across the river from Portland, Oregon. What you're looking at right now is our walk through the Portland Japanese Gardens. Being a travel nurse bouncing around to different places, I've been asked many times, what do you enjoy doing as you travel? And honestly, I never know what to say without sounding incredibly boring, because Trish and I aren't terribly outdoorsy, we don't go on hikes or things like that, we're not really going out into the city and socializing, so truthfully, what we enjoy doing is exploring the area by driving around, road tripping, seeing historical sites, national parks, things like that. As boring people who really don't do anything, what did we do while in Vancouver? Well, the big thing to explore literally in the area are the mountains. First, we went to Mount St Helens, which was just north of us, and is what you're looking at right now. St Helens is famous for its massive eruption in 1980, hence why it looks like it's missing a bit of itself. I took a video of myself in front of the mountain with the intention of using it here for our channel, but as always happens after I turn on the camera, I realize I really don't have anything to say.
You can't really see me. I'm trying to get the mountain in me at the moment. Not really working. All right, there it is. Hello, Stephen. I am currently at Mount St Helens.
On a different day, we took a quick road trip along the Columbia River to see Snoqualmie Falls, and for some reason, I told you I was bad at this, I didn't take any video of the waterfall itself, which is why you're looking at pictures of it right now. And unfortunately, this area was one badly affected by the recent wildfires in the northwest, pictured here. I did think to record video on our way back home when we stopped at the Vista House at Crown Point, which is a 100-year-old building originally designed to be an observatory, but now serves as a local museum. The next and last formal road trip we went on was up to Vancouver in British Columbia, which is one of the more popular destinations when you're living in the Pacific Northwest. We used Airbnb to find a place to stay for the 2 nights we were there, and the view you're looking at right now is of downtown Vancouver from the balcony of our Airbnb. The next day we went to Capilano Suspension Bridge, which is an amazing nature park set in a forest that offers a 460-foot bridge that hangs over the Capilano River, which is what you're looking at right now. And then on the far side of the bridge you can walk through the trees using a network of smaller suspended bridges, while on the near side of the bridge you can walk on this path that essentially makes you feel like you're walking along a cliff. While in Vancouver, we also did some shopping, went to the art museum, which had a Monet exhibit, and found arguably the best bakery I've ever been to, called Purebread. And of course, you probably saw this coming, I have no videos of any of those things. On our way back home, we stopped for the night in Seattle. We had been there once on a day trip a few weeks ago where we went to the Museum of Pop Culture and Pike's Place Market. No video from either of those, of course. But anyway, we drove back down from Canada, stopped at the Space Needle, which is what you're walking along the top of right now. Also went to the Huli Garden and Glass exhibit, which was absolutely worth it. I had seen a Huli exhibit as part of an art class field trip in high school, and while it can stand alone, seeing the pieces in their, quote, natural habitat at the foot of the Space Needle heightens the experience so much. Oh yeah, and the Space Needle was cool too. On the road again the next day, first stop, Snoqualmie. Stephen, I will be shocked if you know what I'm talking about here, but the waterfall you are looking at right now, Snoqualmie Falls, is famous because it's featured in a TV show called Twin Peaks. I don't think you'd like the show, but the falls in the surrounding area are absolutely a must-see for sure. Next stop, our intention was to drive down to see Mount Rainier, but Mother Nature, as you can see, had other plans. What we're looking at right now is the parking lot of the visitor center just south of the mountain. Now look at this right here, and then let me show you what we actually should be able to see from this point. Just let me zoom in. I'll show you this. There. That is what we should be seeing at this point. We had no idea we were that close to the mountain, and ironically, the video they show in the visitor center says that the weather is so unpredictable up there, so frequently fogs and rain, stuff like that, that many visitors never actually get to see the peak. Okay, so we have one more mountain to go before we leave the area. Mount Hood, which is in Oregon, east of Portland, and I'll point out and apologize for the fact that these videos are all out of focus. I only took 3 videos of Mount Hood, pictured here looking out over Trillium Lake, and they all look like this. Anyway, you still get the point that the views were incredible. We stopped at Government Camp, a nearby town, for lunch, and also drove up to see Timberline Lodge, which was the lodge used in The Shining. And now this video you're watching now was shot during our last week in Vancouver when we visited Fort Vancouver Historical Site. Now it's hard to convey this without showing you in person, but when you were driving around the area, whenever you see Mount Hood, it sticks out so much just because it's so much taller than the surrounding landscape. The nerd in me feels like I'm looking at the lonely mountain from The Hobbit. It's surreal and didn't get old the entire 3 months we were there. So that was our 3 months in Vancouver, and now we just moved down to San Diego. I'll be working a contract in a suburb just north of the city, and we'll actually be down here 4 months instead of the usual 3. I negotiated, or rather my recruiter Rolando negotiated a better contract, but I had to agree to stay for an extra month. So we'll just see how it goes. I'm excited. I'll talk to you later, Stephen. Bye.